Four teenage entrepreneurs with inspiring stories. Today, we're going to follow up to see what they've been up to, including big money business exits, hiring 25 employees, completely changing their educational goals, and more. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the Amazon or Walmart world. And a while back, we did this episode that inspired people of all ages, but I took four teenagers who were at different stages of their educational and their career goals, and we brought them on to hear their stories. We had somebody who was from a country where culturally just young people don't really work. It's not, the father is the only one in the family who is supposed to, earn money, and he had a lot of obstacles to overcome despite his age. We had somebody else who was super young, like a freshman in high school, who was making time for retail arbitrage and grossing, hundreds of thousands of dollars on Amazon. We had somebody else who started their own business on TikTok, and it was just completely blowing up and going viral. And we had another individual who was started a business at an early age of like 13 with her sister, who was even younger, and then grew that into a bigger business and also some other endeavors. Now, each of them are coming back on this show, and each of them have gone their own directions, completely different ways. So some of them have doubled down on what they're already doing. Others, they completely changed course and are doing something completely different. Others had some issues, mental health issues they had to kind of approach and acknowledge and deal with. And what's the moral of the story here, guys? Yes, these are young people, but it doesn't matter your age. These things that they're going through, any of you who are listening out there could be going through. So I know that this is going to be an episode that all of you guys can hopefully get inspired on. And if you're older, if you're not a teenager or you're not a young adult, don't tune out. If you're 30, 40, 50, 60, what's holding you back? What obstacles do you have? Do you have mental health issues? Do you have educational drawbacks? Do you have cultural issues? Do you just have an issue where you can't really dream as big as you once did? Well, guess what? These young people have those same issues because these are things that affect people of all ages. So I want you guys, your takeaway to be from this episode, hey, if this 17-year-old or this 20-year-old can overcome it, why can't I? So stay to the end, guys. This is going to be a great episode. Don't forget, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please click somewhere on the podcast page to leave us a review. We would appreciate it greatly. Let's go ahead and hop right into the interviews. All right, we've got Jake here. Now, Jake, if you remember from the first episode, he had started, with that entrepreneurial bug even way back when he was in middle school. All right. And then he, while still in high school, was kind of like a tycoon out there with this legging company. Talk to us more about how the legging company ended up. I know you, I saw from Instagram and things, you had to exit out of that company, but real quick recap on how you got into that and what you built it up to as far as monthly gross revenue, and then what ended up happening with that brand.
Sure. Yeah. So the whole thing started just trying new dropshipping products and whatnot. Leggings just happened to kind of stick back in late 2019 as TikTok was coming up. One of my good friends and investor at the time, Nico Pericos, I considered him more of a co-founder. He invested money in the company very early on, and then we grew it to, we had a few months that were greater than $100,000 in revenue, although it wasn't totally sustainable just considering it's dropshipping at the end of the day. There's nothing proprietary about it. We run that for a year or so. We eventually exit in late March of 2021. And during that time, I hired my now current co-founder, Oliver Brocato, and now we are running this new company, which I'm sure we'll get into.
How did you secure somebody to buy it? Were you shopping it around hey, this is for sale, or were you just, being approached organically by people wanting to buy the brand, or what happened there?
So we had a broker who kind of searched around for buyers.
Now, are you able to say like approximately how much, a deal like that, went for, like what your take was from it, or can you give us an idea?
I think I might be under an NDA, but
Yeah.
I think it's the better $500,000 for the sale of the company.
So when it went down, you were still in your senior year of high school, right?
I was, yeah.
What did you do when you got that check?
I didn't do anything with it. I
Love it.
got a
I love it.
CFA.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I did do one thing. I got a CFA, and just told him to invest it, I guess. At the time we were already building the next thing, so I kind of knew exactly what I wanted to do with the money. So it was really, no difference between getting it
Yeah.
and then not having it the day before.
So now we're like a year and a half later. So you're in college now.
I am, yes.
All right. So typical question. Some people might be like, wait a minute, you've got all this money, cash and everything, and you're obviously successful. Why you still want to go to college?
Well, I'm gonna take a gap year next year. But it was important. It was definitely important to my parents and me also that I at least experienced the first, 6 months to a year.
All right. So you exited the brand. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm done with being an entrepreneur. How did you come up with your next idea? Or is this something you had been planning for a while already?
I actually saw this TikTok video, probably January. This is about 3 months before the sale of Light, and it was about these. It was these two couples trying a sex chocolate. This was a much smaller brand. They were brick and mortar. I don't think they sold direct to consumer at all, and it just was not. It was just not a pretty brand. Everything from the look of the website to the product itself, and needless to say, it didn't work. So we kind of thought that we could take our own packaging, kind of bring our expertise that we've gathered from Light with influencer marketing and Light PPC on Snapchat, and take this new product concept that we know, is a great idea. It was just executed so poorly.
Sex chocolate. That's like chocolates that have kind of like aphrodisiacs in it or something, or what?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your launch strategy for this? So like, this is completely different than how you did leggings. Leggings, you started out, doing a lot of influencer marketing, which I'm sure you did here, but it was like drop shipping and things like that. You can't really drop ship your own brand of chocolate. So,
Right.
how do you guys approach this launch, this brand launch?
Well, it kind of does feel like drop shipping in a sense, and that's because we spent the first year in R&D and just building out our supply chain. So that means like getting a 3PL, getting these different co-manufacturers. There's a lot more organization and structure that goes into it, but we never, just like drop shipping, we still never touch the product if we don't want to.
Interesting.
It's all in other people's hands. So I guess the launch strategy, launch strategy was a little different from something like Light because we couldn't run PPC, because there's a lot of like ad, restrictions that
Yep.
comes with aphrodisiacs. So yeah, my partner's very good at influencers. I give him full credit for when it comes to building out those campaigns. And yeah, we basically just built out this influencer system at a much larger scale than we did at Light, and we launched it. I think within the first month or so, we sold out of our first batch of product.
How did you get influencers? Like, how did you find them? And then what was your pitch to them to get them involved? Since obviously this is a brand new brand, it's not like you're some big name big name brand that everybody knows about.
Right. So yeah, we definitely had trouble with that in the beginning. I think just getting influencers to respond to us. We use TikTok Creator Marketplace, for example, just to get in touch, and then we kind of approached each deal a little bit informally, or something that we would get their number, for example, and text them, right? And that would kind of be the structure of the deal. There wasn't too many processes or like official guidelines that they had to follow. At first, it was kind of like that, but then we kind of realized that influencers want more flexibility in what they post. So we kind of just try to be relatable and try to give them flexibility in what they wanted to post.
So what was your budget? Before you made your first cent, obviously had to invest in branding, you had to invest in websites, you had to invest in product, you had to invest in maybe upfront payments to influencers. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
What did you have to put in before you even saw your first cent out of this brand?
So me and my partner each put in like 20K. I think we spent probably 35K total
Okay.
before selling a product.
And now let's fast forward to, April 2022. Like, what's your monthly gross sales? Like, March, February. Like, what have you been able to scale this brand to so far?
Uh, it's it's good. I mean, we've sold. I don't know about like exact figures, but we sold out, and there's been a lot of like, the conversion rate is less because of that. We have to put people on pre-order. So we sold the first 3,000 units, and now we have about 8 or 9,000 pre-orders after that. Um, so that definitely like,
Wow.
you know,
Have you made up that 35 grand investment then?
yeah, we have. Um,
Definitely. Okay.
yeah, so each box,
I would imagine the profit margin is pretty nice on something like this.
yeah, it is, and it only gets better as we have more scale.
Manufacturing USA, or where is this being made?
So we manufacture the chocolate in the U.S. The ingredients are sourced from New York and I believe Connecticut, all U.S. based, and then packaging is China.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, cool. So the brand is called Tabs, right?
Yes.
Have you tried to put it on Amazon at all, or this is 100% again Shopify?
So yeah, I don't think we want to go into Amazon just because when you think of, and I know very little about Amazon, but um,
Let me
when
just tell you right
people
now, people are searching for it on Amazon.
are
If,
that
if you type in like Tabs, you can see Tabs chocolate sex bar, all this stuff. I'm gonna definitely look into. Matter of fact, I'm gonna check Helium 10 right now to see if there's search volume here, what the actual search volume is. But that's pretty amazing that a brand new brand, people are already searching for it on Amazon. But I know that's like a meltable products and things like that's kind of an issue, right?
Yeah, and we don't want to cannibalize our sales. I mean, if we can sell direct to consumer through our website, we rather do that than try to compete with other brands on Amazon.
So what's your goal now for this brand? Like, did you start this and on day one you had an exit in mind? Like, hey, I just want to get, or is this like, I'm just going to keep this brand, forever?
Um, it's so early that I'm not entirely sure. I don't think.
Mhm.
I mean, probably not going to be doing this for the rest of my life, but I mean, we definitely see the potential, and we want to fully take advantage of it while we have it. So definitely for the next few years, and after that, we'll just play it by ear.
Okay, cool. Well, what's some advice out there? We talked about that the last episode. Other young
Right.
people who are maybe in your shoes, they're freshmen in college or they were in high school like when you started, and they're like, hey, kind of have the entrepreneurial bug. Maybe I don't have, $35,000 lying around because I made a huge exit, but I want to get into this entrepreneurial life. Like, how can I get started? So what kind of advice would you have for them?
Well, for me at least, it didn't start like after starting Light, like even before the leggings company, before I had the 35K to spend on this new venture.
Mm.
That foundation is built off so many failed dropshipping stores since the beginning of high school. I'm a freshman in college now, so it's been like 4 or 5 years. So I guess like it's just kind of cliche, but just keep trying. Like it really just comes with experience. And as you fail more, you learn more. So
All right. Well, Jake, it's really inspiring to see all that you've accomplished. And, we're not trying to tell everybody, hey, if you're, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, you're going to have the same kind of success as Jake, but it just shows what's possible. He didn't come from some family that was already, billionaires in the, Shopify space. And so he was kind of like handed some, this whole plan on a platter or something like that. He pretty much the definition of self-made. All right, and Jake, if anybody wants to reach out to you or at least your brand, find you on the interwebs, how can they do that?
so my Twitter and Instagram is at JKELWN. We're at Tabs on TikTok and Instagram, and then tabschocolate.com is the website.
Jake, thanks a lot for joining us, and I might need a sample of that chocolate Not saying I need it, but you never know. I just want to for testing purposes. I just want to check out your product packaging and things like that. But anyways, Jake, thanks a lot for joining us, and let's reach out in a year and a half and see what new brand you've started then. All right, now we got Sala up here, and Sala, you were the youngest one the last time we had
Yeah,
you on the podcast. You were only 15 at the time, I believe. How old are you now?
I'm 16.
16 now. Okay, so
Yeah,
still in high school.
yeah, I'm in 10th grade,
10th
sophomore.
grade. All right. So, going back to your backstory, you had started doing things like, iPhone repair to make money. So, you had that entrepreneurial bug before and then got into arbitrage. And then you just had some like ridiculous, sales months. I'm assuming
Yeah,
this is when you were like a freshman or an eighth grade or something like that, where
yeah,
there was a Q4 where you did like almost $300,000 of gross sales in arbitrage.
yeah.
Now fast forward like a year and a half, is arbitrage like what you still like doing, or have you pivoted at all, or what are you doing these days?
I'm still doing arbitrage, but I'm not putting a whole like. I'm doing decent numbers, close to like around 30,000 a month in revenue, which
Okay.
isn't as crazy as what I was doing before, but I'm putting in a lot less work, so I'm happy about it. I'm
Were you getting
putting
like burned out a lot? I like found out that you didn't really have enough time for school when you were trying to keep those heavy big numbers or sustain them.
Not necessarily. I just wanted to try other businesses, and so
Hmm.
like drop shipping and Etsy. Like I was working on other shops, so I just had
So
Amazon
what kind
running.
of drop shipping are you doing now?
Shopify. I found my own product. I just created the store, so I'm working on ads currently.
Okay.
But
And then Etsy, that means you're actually making your own products, or
yeah, yeah. So like woodworking, that kind of thing. I enjoy doing it, so I was like, why not give it a shot?
it's not like you're spending less time on your businesses. It might even be more. It's just you're diversifying instead of it all having to be arbitrage.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to do more that like I'm trying to not put most of my time into Amazon because if I can work on something else at the same time, then I want to be able to have multiple streams. And so if I just put all my time towards Amazon, I could create a pretty good stream there. But there's also other things I want to try that are a little more interesting or a little more funner in a way.
Now, back in the day when we had you on the podcast last, you pretty much all the money or the profit that you'd make, you just kind of put back into the business. Especially that's actually kind of important when you're doing arbitrage because you got to have capital to keep the flywheel going. But is that still the case, or have you done anything like started buying a car or bought rewarded yourself at all with some extravagant purchases now that you're fairly well off for somebody of your age?
No, I try to stay away from that. Like, there's still a lot more I could do with the money that I have. And so I'm trying not to, buy something that's gonna set me back for a bit. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
maybe smaller purchases like a computer and that type of thing, but nothing huge. Like I've been putting a
Okay.
lot of my money to my stock account and working on the other businesses that I'm trying.
S- Are you able to get a stock account as a minor, or do you have to have it like in a parent's name or something like that?
Yeah, I have to have it in like a parent's name. Yeah,
So how much money do you have invested in that?
I have around 22,000 around that much in my stock account.
How do you
Uh,
decide like are you putting a little bit every month, or it's just based on how much money you make, or you set like a set amount, or like, hey, every month I'm going to just deposit this there, and or how did you decide how to do that?
It's more of just like I that would be a smart idea, having a schedule. But it's just whenever I have money that's sitting in my account, that's just if it's been sitting in my account for a while and I haven't touched it, then I'm like, what am I doing with this money? Like I should do something with it, and so I just send it over. So it's not really very consistent. Like me sending money in, I'll just send in a certain amount when I don't need the money. So like if it's been sitting in my account, then I'll send it in, and I'm not buying anything like trying to day trade or anything. I'm just buying long term holds.
And how much do you currently have invested in arbitrage? So like what's your like an inventory that you've bought that you just haven't sold yet? Like do you have a certain amount that you try and keep it to? Like, hey, I'm not going to go too far above above or below a certain number.
I try to spend close to like around 10,000 a month in inventory.
Hmm.
Not saying that because usually when I buy the inventory, it takes a while for it to get checked in and
Yep.
for it to get sent in and everything. So it covers up, that like if I send in 10,000 and then send in another 10,000, like it'll just keep on rolling in a way. Like I'll always be getting sales.
Any drawbacks in the last year from that? Like, have you gotten any counterfeit claims or any like kind of like L's you've taken in the last year as far as the arbitrage goes?
Yeah, if actually, not really like counterfeit claims and stuff. I've gotten a couple on my account, but I've gotten rid of them, and so those haven't
How'd you
been
get rid
huge.
of them? What did you
I
What did
send
you
them
show?
I send them receipts, like whatever, like my purchasing receipts and all that.
Mhm.
So those haven't been a huge issue for me. I try to get rid of it as fast as possible, and so I can just keep on moving in a way.
Makes
So
sense. So arbitrage, you got the drop shipping. You said like just on your own, you liked doing woodworking, and that's what gave you the idea about Etsy, or how did that idea come about?
also I tried Etsy last year, and it was while I was doing Amazon. So I was doing Amazon a lot. Like I was putting in a lot more time into Amazon, and so I got a couple sales, and I just got completely lazy to make them, and then like just time went by, and I just canceled the orders and shut down my account. But now I have a little bit more time, so I'm deciding to try it out and starting off decently.
And is that, is that profitable, or is this more just like I'm just having fun? Have you calculated it out? You can actually make money based on whatever pay for the materials and stuff, or are you just doing this as kind of like a passion project?
No, I'm doing like 40 to 60% margin, profit margin. So it's harder to make them, and so like currently, since it was my first couple orders, it obviously took me a long time to make them.
Mhm.
But like I've been seeing improvement. So like the first order took me like close to 3 hours to make, and the second order it was like 2 hours. It was a little over 2 hours, and like I'm getting better and better. So like I feel like I could definitely get this like under an hour. And so if I can make one project an hour, that could be like $70, $80 an hour in profit. And
So
so
then, like, what's an example of a kind of product that you're doing, and then like how you decided to come about it? Like did you do product research first, or you're looking on Etsy what other people were doing? You're like, hey, I can do that, or did you just come up with a random idea yourself?
no, for the first project that I started with, I paid for plans. So someone else had already made this item, but they weren't selling it
Oh.
on Etsy, and so I bought their plans,
How
and
in the
then
world do you find something like that?
on YouTube.
YouTube, huh?
Yeah, it
Interesting.
was yeah, and it popped out to me, and I was like, this is something people would buy. So I purchased their plans. It wasn't They usually don't charge a lot, maybe less than $10, and then it tells you everything you need to do and how to do it.
Interesting. And is there competition on that exact thing, or
That product, no.
um, is it? Were you like the first one on Etsy with this exact product?
It's I'm not I'm the first person selling this product in this, that looks like this. You know what I mean? Because I'm selling a planter, like planter boxes and raised
Okay.
planter boxes and whatnot, and so I'm the first person to be selling this like certain planter box with this design. But there's plenty of other planter boxes all over Etsy. So it's just this is I guess unique in a way because nobody else is selling this exact same.
And you've
Uh,
already made some sales just starting from scratch, without any
yeah,
like, it's not like you're doing Google ads to your Etsy store or something like that.
no, yeah. Etsy has a built-in marketing thing, so like you can put a daily budget, and they'll like sponsor you on Etsy search. I've tried that out. That didn't work a whole ton for me, but Etsy also does offsite ads for you as well. So if you wanted to, you could do that.
Okay. What's the status of going back to arbitrage? Like how would you classify that today, as opposed to the last time you were on the show in like early 2021? Is it still as easy to make money, or is it harder to find profitable products? Is inventory shipping issues still an issue for you, or talk about how it is now compared to how it was last year?
Last year it was more because it was COVID. It was just super easy because there's a lot of product supply chains. Things were messed up, and so there's a lot of products. Then there's still plenty of products. I know plenty of people who are making six figures or more a month in revenue from just doing arbitrage, and so it's still alive and well. Like people are still making money. Like there's definitely plenty of opportunity there.
Mhm.
Just I haven't personally I haven't been taking advantage of it myself. So
You still got a couple more years of high school. So what's some of your short and long term goals for what you want to do?
some of my goals is that I just want to get like Amazon to be doing consistent numbers and get into wholesale on Amazon. So the woodworking business is also another one. And there's just whatever. I also have a couple of other hobbies that like I want to turn into businesses in the future. So
Words of wisdom, since you're the only one left in our group, or still like at least in an American, high school. So there's some American kids out there. They're still in high school, wondering how they can get started, but still juggling their entire, course load and things like that. What's some advice you can give them?
For people wanting to get into Amazon specifically, then used books is just such a good option to getting into Amazon. It's a low entry, like doesn't require a whole lot of capital. It doesn't require a whole lot of anything. It's just going to their stores and getting books. It's very simple, and it's very like you can make a lot of money off of it. And other than that, that's pretty much all I have for getting into Amazon or
Used books. All right.
yeah,
Cool.
used books is it's really the best way, and it's the way a lot of people I know have started, including myself.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Next year, let's see what you're doing. Maybe you did Etsy this year and drop shipping. Next year, who knows? Maybe you're going to be on Wayfair or Shopify, or who knows what you're going to have. So it's always interesting to catch up with you and see what you're doing. So wish you the best of success in the future. And then if people want to, find you on the interwebs, how can they see you out there?
My Instagram is I'm Salah Issa, so IMSALIHESA, and I also have a TikTok, which is the same. I also have a Twitter, which is the same. So if anybody
Awesome.
has any questions on how to start Amazon, just shoot me a message. I'll try to respond to you. I will respond to you. Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next year. All right. Now we've got Michaela here. Now, Michaela, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were the oldest one that we had at the time of our recording on the last one. You were 19. Are you now 20?
Yes, but I turned 21 next week. So
okay, so you are 21. I would assume that you don't drink though, anyways.
No. Nope.
Yeah. So if you don't drink, 21, pretty much, being 20, turning 21 has very little meaning. Like 20 is the major milestone there.
But I am excited to turn 21 because it's been on my bucket list to make vanilla extract, and you use vodka and vanilla beans to make it. So I will be going and getting alcohol, but it's not for consumption.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, yes. You got to have different goals here. All right. Now, you had started e-commerce when you were early teens, like 13, 14, and I think you did a lot of stuff with your mom and then also your sister. But then, when you were coming on the podcast last year, you were doing like webinars and things like that. But I believe you were kind of just starting, or you were, in your second or first year of college, or as they say in other countries, university. So have you still been able to have the time to be doing your entrepreneurship, or has that kind of taken a back seat to your studies? What's been going on the last couple of years?
So sadly, that has taken a back seat for college and classes. With the marketing degree that I decided to try and get, the classes were a lot harder and were a lot different than what I thought they were going to be.
I'm assuming that your family is supporting you while you're in college and helping out. So it's not like, oh, you stop your side businesses, now you are, starving every night because you have no money to eat.
Oh,
it's not like that situation, right?
No. So to give a little background, I live alone, but I'm a very extroverted person. So I've had to go grab a couple of jobs that help me fulfill that extroversion. So I've got money coming in that way. And then I've got money that I've made in the past saved up for this experience in this part of my life. So I'm okay. My parents help me out every once in a while, but not a ton. But I still have like a couple.
Also, so it's like the money you saved up from your previous, e-commerce and entrepreneurship, you saved, and then that's what you're using to also, sustain yourself as well, along with new jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you're an extrovert, being in e-commerce sometimes is not exactly, the best outlet for that, because you're not really interacting with people that much.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So what I think is important, I don't want people sometimes maybe have heard about my story on here or hear me talking about, college and things like that. And to say like, I'm necessarily anti-college. I'm kind of like the person is like, hey, it's not for everybody. And you can definitely have success if you don't go to college, traditionally, like that doesn't mean you're going to fail. But at the same time, I don't want to sit here and say, oh no, you shouldn't go to college, or it's not a beneficial thing to do, for everybody. So here's a case where Michaela, started, young and was all into e-commerce, but, she made the decisions like, hey, I want to level up, get this marketing degree. And you know what? I need to step away from e-commerce a little bit, guys. There's nothing, regardless of your age, there's nothing wrong with taking a break a little bit if you got to take care of other things, because the last thing you want to do is get burnout. And I'm assuming that you could probably see the writing on the wall. Like if you would have kept up your schedule, and then now with all this extra workload of homework and stuff, you probably would have got burnout or something.
Okay, so are you okay if I like share the story of everything that's kind of happened?
Share it.
Okay.
Share.
So,
Sharing is caring.
when I first moved out, I was like going super hard with everything that I had going on. Definitely got burned out, and that's why I had to pause my e-commerce and other coaching program that I had.
Oh, you did? So you did get burned out. It wasn't like you foresaw it. It actually happened. Okay.
Yeah, totally happened. Had some mental health issues kick in, and so over the last couple of years, I've been really trying to focus on myself. Definitely took like a year and a half for me to even realize that was going on, and I was dragging myself through all this of basically banging my head against the wall and couldn't figure out what was happening. And my parents had to be like, yo, hun, this is what's going on. This is what we see. Like, let's get you some help so that you're not acting like you're not stuck in this forever. Because in my brain, I was like, oh, this is adulting. This is what I just have to live with and deal with. And it was depression, burnout, anxiety, and all sorts of other things that kind of just came onto my life. And the only reason why I went to college is because God told me to go to college, to come up here and to try and get around some kids who think the same way I do as in marketing and business. And we are no longer going for the marketing degree. I am going for my life coaching certification.
What certification? I'm sorry?
Life coaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. So I will be switching schools here in the next little bit and doing life coaching.
Hey guys, there's another lesson right there. Especially you young people, you start out in something and you might be all motivated for it, but then if you're like, hey, if this doesn't feel right, don't be like, hey, I started this, I got to finish it, no matter what, even though it's going to make me miserable. I remember something about you is even before, a couple of years ago, you were doing like, I don't know if you called it life coaching, but you were doing these kind of like webinars to kind of like empower youth or something like that. It was almost on the lines of life coaching. So I'm assuming this has always been like a passion of yours then.
Sort of. So I was teaching kids how they can start their own business online without investing a crap ton of money and having to build a website and all that stuff. And since these last couple of years have been hard on me and my soul, and talking to some of my other friends, it's kind of been a struggle transitioning from a teenager to an adult and having to function by yourself without having some parent guidance always there. And I was in a church meeting one time, and they had this life coach come in. And I was like, how funny would this be as if this was my life-changing moment, seeing this life coach up here talking. And I was like, shoot, this is my life-changing moment. This is what I want to do so I can help other teenagers like transition and realize their potential and not have to fall into that rut that I got stuck in and that some of my other friends have gotten stuck in. So I've always loved like trying to help people in some sort of way, but now I feel like I've got a solid idea of how I can do it.
Hey, I like it. Following your passions and doing what feels right, and it's not always just a matter of, oh, I love, standing in the middle of an igloo, and so that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. Like I don't know. I'm just throwing random stuff out there. Like, and I've always been of the philosophy of if you can do the perfect kind of job is if you can do something that you love doing so much that even if you weren't paid for it, you'd probably pay just to do it, just because it's so fulfilling to you. And at the same time, it changes people's lives. I used to do that with Zumba fitness when I love Zumba, and now I'm being paid to do it and helping people lose weight and change their lives. And now I'm doing it on Amazon. I used to pay to use Helium-10, and now they're paying me to use Helium-10 and inspire people and change their lives financially on Amazon. So that is pretty cool. All right. So what's the future hold for you? Now, how long is this certification going to take? And then can you already see how you're going to use it as soon as you finish?
Yeah. So I'm debating between two of them right now. One of them, I believe, is like 6 months-ish. So both of the programs have year-long access. So I could focus on the certification for a year.
All right. I love it. Completely different than our other experiences here, but it just goes to show that, hey, there's no one formula to success, or one secret to success, guys, where everybody has to take the same path. Love this a lot. So if people want to find you, follow your journey in the interwebs, or, podcasts, social medias, whatever you want to give out, go ahead and let people know.
Okay, so I just started a podcast, guys. It's been so much fun. I absolutely love it. My dad raves about it every time he listens to an episode, so you know that it's good. It's called If I Were 20 Again. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify. And then if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. It's Michaela.prince. Not on TikTok, though, so.
Awesome. In a week now, you could be your own guest on the podcast, like if you were 20.
I know.
All right, Michaela, thank you so much for coming back, and wish you the best of success in your journeys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me come back on.
All right, now we've got another guest from the other side of the world, Salman. Salman, welcome back. How's it going?
I'm amazing, thank you.
All right, now you also were one of our younger guests that we had on last time. So how old are you now?
I'm still 17.
Well, you weren't 17 last time. You were 16. It's been over a year.
I was 16 last time.
Okay, so it's been over a year. All right. So are you still in high school?
Yep, this is my last year.
Now, are you going in person, or is it all virtual, or how is your school set up?
I'm actually homeschooled because
Homeschool.
it's really hard to manage school with all the Amazon stuff going on.
Now, you weren't always in that, right?
No, I wasn't always homeschooled, just from the past few years.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the Amazon side. Last time, we talked, you had on this podcast, I know we've obviously talked since then, you and I, but you had started becoming kind of like a virtual assistant for many Amazon sellers, and helping them with things from product research to listing optimization and things. But now, as I understand, you kind of got bigger, and so now you've expanded and actually hired a number of employees even as well, right?
Yeah, I've got 25 employees.
25 employees. So go back to that first one. Like, what made you hire that first employee? Like, was it just, oh my goodness, I'm having to turn down clients or opportunities because I just don't have the time and bandwidth to do it myself, or what happened there?
I actually always had bigger plans. So the first time we got on the podcast, before that, I actually launched my own company. And from there, since I was getting so many clientele for different services, so I thought, why not I offer all of these services under one roof, so that even if a client comes to our door, he doesn't have to return to someone else for something else. So we're offering an all-in-one solution, so he doesn't have to waste his time or money on somewhere else.
Okay, so 25 people you've hired. What's the average salary of somebody you hire?
The lowest salary right now is $250, and the highest salary right now is $1,000.
Okay. And with all these, with this, now new overhead, though, you still are able to obviously make money yourself, I'm assuming.
If I tell you the revenue for last month, we did $20,000, and we're planning a forecast of 22.5 this April. So yeah, things are pretty good.
Excellent. And now all of this revenue is the way that you get money. Is any of it kind of like, percentage of sales of your clients, or everything is just like strictly project based?
It is.
Which one?
I would say 25% of it is based on percentage from our clients' profits, and the rest of 75% is based on salaries. Okay.
And interesting. Now, what's, when are you finishing high school? Is it this year or is it next year?
It's in about 3 months.
Okay, so you're like what we would call a senior in high school here. So what is going to change, if anything, about kind of like what you're doing when you graduate? Because I would assume that now you will have more time. Now, are you trying to go to university, or now are you just going to focus all on the business?
Actually, I'm a student of O levels here in Pakistan. So over here, after O levels, there's another level that's called A levels. So I have to give around 2 years to that. And after that, I can go to university.
Okay. So it's still like school is not finished. Yeah, maybe you'll get a little bit of a break
More
and
like
then
a
start again.
college. A levels is more like a college. So
Okay.
school's gonna end, a college will start, and then university.
Okay. Now, there's no right or wrong here. But I'm just curious, you're doing pretty well, like more than probably even just, 99% of the population would normally, revenue wise already. So what is the motivation behind continuing the education? Because, some people do education because it's like, hey, if I don't do this, I'm never going to be able to have a decent income. But what about you? What's your motivation for continuing on to like say, hey, I'm still going to go to school?
To be honest, there is no motivation. There's a certain mindset. I've always believed that education has nothing to do with how much you earn or what job you'll get or whom you'll marry or whom you won't marry. Education is for your personal grooming. It's for making yourself feeling worthy that I've achieved something. So that is my main reason for continuing my education.
Okay. Now how do you manage 25 employees? Like do you have like managers? Do you have human resources who do hiring and monitoring and
I
things
do
like
not
that? Or
have human resources. I do have one manager,
Mm,
but we do 50-50 of the work.
okay. Um what's some new strategies that you found along the way that maybe you can share, like something that's working in one of the aspects of how you help Amazon sellers, that maybe you can share with the rest of the audience?
So recently we tried this Pinterest and TikTok marketing, and it was a blast. About 2 months back, we made 105 posts, 105 pins of Pinterest with someone on Fiverr, and we managed to gain over 60 orders for that particular product in just 1 hour. Although it wasn't helping the ranking, but it did help us sustain. So it's pretty good.
Were those paid posts or those were just organic posts that you did?
They were paid. They were paid.
Okay. All right. Cool. What's the future look like for you as far as on the, you see what your plans are for the education side, but how are you going to grow your agency? What are your goals there? Like if we have you on the podcast in a year or two, what would you like to be able to tell everybody of what you've achieved?
Well, right now my focus is on asset building. So apart from Amazon, I'm into, I'm into real estate a little bit. I have NFTs and all. So my core focus
So
right
real
now
real
is
estate, like, are
building
you
NFTs.
buying houses or
No, just
buildings, or
just
what are you trying
NFTs.
to do?
Not houses yet. They're too expensive.
Okay. So what kind of real estate are you getting into then?
No, the actual real estate. Buying apartments or houses, that type of stuff.
Yeah, but so that's what your goal is. You're wanting to get into that. Okay, I thought you were saying you
I
already
have
were.
always wanted to,
Mhm.
own a dealership for cars, have an agency that deals in all kinds of properties and all. So I'm getting there very slowly, but at least I'm getting there. So
I like it. I like it. Now what do your parents think of all your success, lately?
they're pretty impressed for someone my age doing all of this, but they never say anything.
Okay.
They're just happy. I just know it. They're happy.
All right, cool. So any maybe, plans to visit overseas or maybe come to US to visit anytime soon?
I am a huge fan of traveling though, but with my time schedule, it's pretty hard. So I'm planning a trip to Turkey this July, and after that, maybe in 3 to 4 months, I'll try to come to USA.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good timing because remember in September we've got the Sell and Scale Summit in Las Vegas,
Oh,
the
that's
biggest
amazing!
event for Amazon sellers.
Right.
And I think that you would really have a great time. What would be a great first time to the United States? Go to Vegas. It's really great to see what you've accomplished, especially at your age. And guys, make sure to listen to the old episode. It's not just about the age. Salman had to overcome a lot of like other barriers due to the culture that he's in, where it's not like maybe the United States or Europe where kids get a job from an early age. It's a very different, setup over there, and he had to overcome a lot to achieve what he has. So it's really great to see what you've done. And all right, the next time we talk, then all right, maybe I don't know about the car dealership yet, but maybe an apartment building or something. Let's see. So then the next time that I visit Pakistan, maybe I can stay in one of your units there.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot. All right, guys, there you have it. We just heard from 4 young entrepreneurs, and a lot of takeaways from this. But one of the important things is that there's no just one pathway to success, right? Jake is doubling down on what he's doing. He sold his business and now he started over again, and now he's having a lot of success. And he still wanted to get some of the college life, so he's going for a year, to college. Salad kind of is took a step back a little bit from arbitrage. He's not doing as much as anymore, and he's doing something he's more passionate about, and started his own Etsy, business. But he's still crushing it, making way more money than any of the people in his high school, I'm sure, who have a after school job. We have Michaela, who was like, what, I'm burnt out. I am burnt out from school and my e-commerce businesses. Something's got to give. Let me take a step back from e-commerce for just a little bit, work on my mental health, and switch my educational goals and do something I'm more passionate about. And then I'm going to, pick it back up. Nothing wrong with that, guys. Nothing wrong with pivoting in life. Salman, he's been doubling down. He's like, hey, I've accomplished a lot as a virtual assistant. I want to expand out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and hire a team so I can, help more people and expand my business. You guys who are entrepreneurs, you might need to hire somebody instead of trying to do everything yourself. So I hope you're inspired as I am. I wish I had this kind of drive when I was, 16, 17, 18 years old. I don't regret, all the choices I made or anything like that, but it's really inspiring, I think, to see younger people who are crushing it, because sometimes we as adults, we want to put a bunch of excuses in front of us, right, of why we can't do something, or I'm too young for this, I'm too old for this, I'm too poor for this, or I'm too busy for this, or this or that. These guys all had very similar, obstacles, even more, and they found a way to overcome it and get through it. So that's what I want you guys to do as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.